good people, welcome to my channel, Chillinwithlanda. If this is your first time seeing my face, then welcome. Hit the subscribe button, become a part of the family, like the video, leave any comment down below. And if you're not new here, then what's up? What's happening? You know what time it is. It's time for another story time. But let's talk about TikTok. TikTok is back in full effect. It was less than 24 hours. And yeah, the internet was going crazy for a whole week, crying. This just to be a lesson learned to have multiple streams of income. Don't put your eggs in one basket, because as y'all can see, the government can just snatch something away. But I am very happy that it's back. People can get back to making money and living their life, but I'm just not happy about the TikTok beggars, y'all. The beggars is just too much, crying about their rent, about all these, their children need this and their children need that. They stand in hotels and begging for $40 because the housekeeper is banging on the door trying to kick them out. I ain't happy about that part, but y'all, let's go ahead and get into the story time. I don't even know where to begin, but I'm gonna just jump right into it. So most of y'all should know, if you have watched some of my stories, and if you haven't checked out my stories, be sure to check out some stories I have in my playlist and catch up on some things that I've been through. But I used to work security, so yeah, it's gonna be a job story time. This job was just so ratchet, y'all. I was looking for a job. I was working security. Jobs in security is a lot of jobs. It's very plentiful in the security industry. Well, at least down here where I stay. So I get on Good Indeed and I look for a security job. I apply to multiple security jobs. Some jobs, they take a little while to get back to you. But let's say I applied to this job Thursday around 11 a.m. 3 p.m. this job called my phone. This specific security company. I don't even want to name it. We're just going to call it USA Security. They called my phone around 3 p.m. that day, and they was like, hey, we need some guards, we seen your resume, and you look like you're a good fit for the job. Can you come in tomorrow? So I was like, okay, cool. I didn't think nothing of it. Jobs who need people, they call pretty fast. So that wasn't a thought in my mind. It wasn't nothing bad in my mind about that they called me so fast. So the next day come, of course, I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. I go to this interview. Now, I walk into the building. The building was nice outside. It was a lot of cars. But I walk into this building, and it was Jerry Springer on the TV. It was very loud. And it was maybe like 30 to 35 people sitting in the lobby. It was a young lady at the front desk, and then you had like the mannequins with the security guard outfits on. They have like their job, like the sayings on the wall and stuff. But it was a lot of people. First red flag. It looked like I had walked into a welfare office. It was so many people waiting. So I go up to the front desk. I give her my confirmation email saying that I had an interview for that day. And she gives me a form to sign, and she tells me to sit down and wait. So I take the form, and I don't find the seat. So I'm standing in this corner in the office because it's so packed. I'm reading this form, I'm filling out my information, my name, my address, what jobs need. And then I get to the second page. And I see something about $300. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that doesn't apply to me, maybe, I don't know. I just read over it briefly, but I left that page blank, and I continued signing the rest of the paper because I knew that was something I needed to ask the front desk about. So I'm sitting and I'm waiting, and then the front desk lady, she finally looks at me and she was like, you finished? And I'm like, yeah. I walk up and I give her the little form. So she's looking over everything, and she's like, yeah, you skipped this part. And I was like, yeah, I have to talk to you about that, what's that? So she's like, yeah, for your uniform, and then for your utility belt, like for the mace, the mace, the cuffs, the little items they give you for security work. She was like, yeah, it's gonna be $300. So I was like, excuse me, like obviously I don't have $300 to give you today because I'm looking for a job. So instantly I'm thrown off, y'all. I already was kind of thrown off from all the people that was in the lobby, because and then the Jerry Springer that was on the television. It was so ghetto off bat, but it's a security job, and So I'm like, I don't have $300. So she was like, don't worry, you can go ahead. When you talk to the recruiter in the back, they're going to discuss all of this information with you. I go back to my corner. I'm mumbling under my breath at this point. I'm a little turned off. I'm like, I don't have $300 to give these people. We're looking for a job. Well, why? How are we gonna give y'all $300 if we're trying to get money? It doesn't make sense. So I'm saying all of this under my breath, and a girl, she was sitting next to me, so she was like, yeah, that's strange. Like, girl, I've worked plenty of security jobs and I didn't have to pay anything. And I was like, girl, me too. I've been in the security game I don't know how many years, and I never had to pay $300 for a uniform and a utility belt. So me and this girl in the lobby, we're talking, and of course, again, I'm thrown off by this whole situation already. Already, I'm just like, I don't think this job is gonna work, but I'm gonna wait to speak to the recruiter, you know. I sat in that lobby. Me and that girl talked for maybe an hour and a half. No lie, you guys. We were in there for maybe an hour and a half. She was called eventually. She came out. She didn't look too happy. I'm not sure. She didn't look too happy. And the reason why I say she didn't look too happy was because me and this girl had sat out there for maybe an hour and a half talking the entire time. Once she came out from doing her interview, she didn't say nothing to me. She didn't say nothing. She just walked out the door and she left. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I barely knew the woman, so I didn't take it anyway. So maybe 10 minutes later, they call my name. Londa. I get up. I go to the back. So it was this guy. I'm going to just call him recruiter. So I sit down in the office. They close the door behind me. He's telling me, yeah, we need somebody at this post. You're going to be working in a gatehouse, and we need you to work overnight. And we need you to start tomorrow. Like, it was Friday, like I told y'all. So we need you to start Saturday, which was tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's no big deal. But with this $300, like, I've worked plenty security jobs, and they never needed $300 for my uniform. So he was like, yeah, it's $300 because we give you 2 shirts, 2 pants, a belt, a mace, a cuff, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, still, I've worked plenty of jobs that gave me all of that plus more, and I didn't have to pay anything. So he was like, we understand that you guys may not have the $300 right now, but we could slowly take it out of your checks. And I still was just like, I ain't feeling this. But I ain't gonna lie, I needed the job at the time. I really needed the security job. And I sat there and I was just like, I should get up and I should walk out because there's plenty other jobs. But I sat there and I just let him. He was like, yeah, it's overnight and you get to drive around the community in a car. And it's just easy. We just need you to work overnight. So I was like, you're going to take the $300 out of my check. I just could not get over this $300. I just could not get over this $300. So he was like, yes, we're going to take out however much you want until you pay the $300 back. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, y'all could take out a good $15 out of my check or whatever. So we set that little deal up. And they gave me some pants, some shirt. They gave me that big-ass utility belt with all this unnecessary stuff on it that I probably would never even use. And, yeah, so I'm... You know, that's the third red flag. They hired me on the spot. That's the third red flag. There's going to be like 4 or 5 red flags in this story, but that's the third. The first, it was so many people in that lobby. When I say it was so many people waiting to be hired, I should have turned around then because it was ghetto. Jerry Springer playing on the TV, nothing professional was about the setting. Was paying $300 for a uniform. That's not unheard of, but it's very uncommon in the security world. And number 3, you hired me on the spot. He asked me a few questions, but not really. He asked me a couple, like 1 or 2 questions, and then he went on to the position and offered it to me pretty much. I should have been aware, but I was desperate. So at this time, I didn't have a car. I had an older friend, you know. I always had me a little older friend, you know, on the side. So I get my stuff and I'm walking to the car with my head hang low because I'm a little discouraged and disappointed about the $300. So I get in the car and I'm telling my friend guy about the $300, how it's absurd and it's too much. So he offers to give me 150 to to just give to the job so that I'll only have to pay 150, to take a little load off so I can have more on my check. And I really appreciated that. All right. So let's go ahead and fast forward to my first night working at the job. And I have made a story time about this job actually, when the two coworkers got caught up and he was cheating on his wife and this whatever. Check it out in the playlist, y'all. It's called when cheating at work gets you fired or something like that. Check it out. So my first night working here, it was pretty cool. Went through the loop, went training. It was cool. The manager was a Spanish guy, and it was very old school at this job. I noticed, like, they didn't have nothing digital. Like, most jobs when you clock in, you probably clock in on a phone, or you have like a little tablet or something digital, like a digital trail. We had paper. We just had a paper with lines on it. It was like, how when you going to check in at the doctor and you write your name and the time you enter, and yeah, it was something like that. So I wrote my name down, and I got there at 11. I was supposed to work from 11 to 7. So I put my name down. I enter at 11 a.m. So I'm working. It was cool. I get in a little car, I go do my rounds. The job was very nice. It was only 2 people working, no sweat, nobody hounding me, nobody breathing down my neck, monitoring my every move. It was perfect. Okay, so this, I leave. I write 7 a.m. is the time that I left, right? 8 hours. So the next night, I think I told y'all in that story that the manager was still in time. He was lying about his clock in times. He was still in work. That's why I was like, it's very old school. They don't have a digital trail because they probably could have caught that way earlier. But my first night working there, I only seen the manager once. He was fired. My second night coming in, it was somebody else. He trained me a little bit and I worked. Maybe like 5 a.m. that night, I get a call from somebody in the office. Don't know who they were. Could have been a manager. Don't know. But he was like, yeah, so the lady that's supposed to relieve you at 7, she can't make it. We really need you to do a double. So I was like, hell no. But he was like, nah, please, like, I need you to work this double. Like, if you work this double for me, I'll give you the extra day off tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. He ended up convincing me to do this double this night. So I was supposed to get off at 7 a.m. I agreed to do this double. I'm tired as I don't know what. The guy that I talked to, my older friend that I had at the time, he brings me some food, to keep my energy up. I'm working. I'm doing this double. The day is going on, and I'm supposed to get off at 3 p.m. because I did a double. I worked from 11 to 7, then 7 to 3, right? So 2 o'clock come, I'm tired. My eyes is barely staying open. I'm very, very tired. But, I make it through the day, and it's at 3 p.m. Somebody has come to relieve me. So they relieving me, and I'm very relieved. They relieved me. So, I get the board where we're supposed to clock in and clock out, and I write my name again. I wrote 11 p.m. and then I left at 7 a.m. and then on that same line I wrote 7 a.m. and then out 3 p.m. Y'all catch me? That's 16 hours. A 8 and an 8. Y'all following me? Okay. So, at the end of the week is when that supervisor is supposed to give that paper to the office because they're going to calculate our weekly payment, right? So it's like the weekend has come. I'm off work, and then the next week is coming, and I'm working. I'm supposed to, it's my first check. So I'm excited. I'm like, okay, do we even have? Now I forgot to even mention this. When I got hired at the office, they don't offer electronic direct payment, direct deposit. They didn't offer direct deposit. That's why I say this job was so old school and just, I don't know if they was old school or just scamish. I'm not sure, but they did not have direct deposit. So the next week is payday, right? So that Wednesday, we're supposed to go to the office and pick up our check. I told y'all this is my first check at this job. So I'm like, okay, I'll just pull to the job and get my check. Y'all, when I pulled up, it was a line around the corner. When I say it looked like the Social Security office, the line was wrapped around the building. I have never worked at a job that did not offer direct deposit. So that's red flag number 4. Red flag number 4. They did not offer direct deposit. It was just... So, of course, I want to get paid like everybody else. I get to the back of the line. It's hot. We're sweating. Everybody that's in line, of course, we're talking shit. We're talking shit to each other. We're like, what kind of job is this? Not to mention, half of us that was in this group waiting to get our checks, we had all been hired at the same time or like in that same month. I'm talking to everybody. When you started here? Oh, I started last week. When you started here? Girl, I started 2 days ago. Oh, yeah, I just started last week. It was very strange. They had hired so many people within the same time frame. Like, that was so strange. So we're all talking crap. So the line is getting shorter. We're moving up to the front. They have this table out there, and they have these boxes, and inside the boxes they have these white envelopes, our checks, right? So it's getting closer, and it's a couple people in front of us, and everybody, of course, you're going to bust your check open as soon as you get it because you want to see your amount, right? So people busting their envelopes open, and they're looking at their amounts, and they getting mad. I'm talking about everybody. They're like, I'm missing money. I'm missing money. Like, almost everybody was complaining that they were missing money. So I'm getting a little nervous now because I'm like, they better have my money. They better have my money. So me and the people that's in the group, we're still talking shit. We're like, oh my gosh, like, they better have my money. Like, and especially me, I done a double last week. My second day working at this job, I did a double for these people, so they better have my money. So it's my turn. They give me my check. Of course, y'all, my check was so short. So I was short. That day that I did a double, they had only paid me for 6 hours. They didn't even pay me for the whole 8. They didn't even pay me for one shift. They paid me for 6 hours, what I calculated. So, of course, my reaction was just like, oh, hell no. Like, I need to speak to a manager. And, of course, they was like, oh, the managers are not here. You're going to have to wait till the morning to call the office to speak to someone. So I'm in line. I'm just pissed. I'm like, no, I'm being rebellious at this point. I'm not moving. I want to speak to somebody now. Not only me is complaining, other people that got their check and have the same situation, they're standing out there and they want to speak to somebody now. So, of course, we're out there. We're making a little loud noise, and miraculously, they pull the manager out their ass. Somebody comes, open the door, and comes out there to speak with us. It's the manager, miraculously, that they said was not there, right? So he's there. He's like, oh, I'm sorry about all of this. Everyone, please, everyone, like, just be calm. I'm gonna take down everybody's name and everybody's that's missing money. Let me stop. Piss me off. And he's like, everybody that's missing money, write down your name, and your next check, we're going to put that on. And that made everybody more mad. Because what you mean, the next check? I want my money for last week that I worked on this check now. What do you mean, next check? So everybody out there, we're pissed, but it's like, it's nothing we can do. So we form a line to this guy, the manager, because we need to get our money. So I'm waiting in line. I'm mad. Okay, it's my turn. So I'm standing in front of the manager. I write down my name, and I tell him, like, yo, I worked the double, and I'm missing hours. Like, y'all only paid me for 6 hours out of 18 hours. Like, what is going on? 16 hours. What is going on? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. We're going to put it on the next check. So I walk off mad, but what can I do at this point? So within those, we was paid bi-weekly, y'all. So I had to work. I had to work those 2 weeks. What can I do? I had to wait like everybody else. Within those 2 weeks, that little skedaddle happened with the couple, the new manager, the girl. They was cheating. The wife came. All that happened within those 2 weeks because I told y'all I wasn't even there maybe a month or two. So now the next pay cycle is coming around, and it's time to get paid again. So I have to go to the building, and of course the line is wrapped around the corner, and it's just so bad, y'all. So, okay, I'm in line. Same thing is happening. Whoever I'm around, we're all talking shit because we're mad. What kind of job doesn't offer direct deposit? It's just paper checks. It's just ridiculous. So, I'm waiting in line, sweating. I finally get to the front, see that box with all the white envelopes. I get my check. I'm like, ooh, I'm finna be paid good because I got this 2 weeks check and I got them hours that they missed. Ooh, I'm finna be paid. Ooh, I got some money. So I bust my check open, and of course, y'all already know. Y'all already know. They still hadn't paid me my money. Not only did they only still pay me 6 hours for the previous pay cycle, they was missing hours for the last 2 weeks. It was just so much. So I'm standing up, and the manager was there this time. So I'm like, sir, y'all need to pay me my money. Like, now, I'm not leaving without my money. So I'm getting loud at this point. I'm like really loud at this point. So he was like, relax, Yolanda. Let's go inside the building and let's talk. Now, mind y'all, inside the building, in the lobby, it's packed. It's packed with people. It's the same amount of people from when I was getting hired. 30 to 35 people is sitting in the lobby. This time, Maury is playing. No better. So many people is in the lobby waiting to get interviewed, to get hired, y'all. So the boss puts me in the room. He's sitting in the room. He closes the door behind me, and it was another lady in his office. It was like a 2 office, 1 room kind of situation. But he didn't leave the door open, or did he? No, he closed the door. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, I need my money. I need my money now. So he was like, well, the hours that you giving us and this and that. And I'm like, sir, I'm telling you, because I took pictures of every timesheet that I signed my name on. I took pictures. So I'm pulling out my pictures and I'm showing him, this is time I came, this time I left, this time I came, this time I left, this time I came, this time I left. So he's swearing me up and down, oh, his paperwork is right. No, sir, you didn't pay me for the hours that I worked. I worked that double and I need my money. Like, I'm getting mad at this point. So now he's telling me, I'm like, well, maybe your manager who got fired, I feel like he didn't translate the work properly. I feel like maybe he didn't even turn in our timesheets because he was fired. In that transition within those 3 weeks, anything could have happened. Everybody out here is missing hours, and y'all steady hiring thousands of people. It just don't make no sense. I need my money now. Now he's like getting a little fumbly with his papers and all of this. So he's steady telling me, and you still owe money for the $300 on your uniform. And I'm like, I don't even owe $300. I came and I gave you $150 to put half. So now I only owe probably like $120 on the uniforms. What are you talking about? Now, y'all, I'm telling this story very, like, calm or what have you, but I wasn't very calm. I was loud and belligerent. I'm not going to cap. So the lady who's in the office with him, she's like, ma'am, you need to lower your voice. And I said, who the fuck is talking to you? I'm not talking to you. So she was like, you just need to calm down. I said, I'm not talking to you. You want me to keep yelling at you? You want to talk to me? I'm going to yell at you because I'm not talking to you. So the manager was just like, Yolanda, please calm down, calm down. I was like, I need my money. I said, y'all have us standing out here in this hot sun with these paper checks. This is my second or third check, and my money, you still haven't paid me my money. So somebody that was working in the office, they must be heard that I was loud. They come and they open the door. And it was like, ma'am, you're very loud. And we have people we're trying to interview. And I was like, they don't trust me. They don't want to work here. They don't want to work here. I said, they don't pay everybody. They don't pay everybody. And when I was saying that, the doors open now, so the people that's in the back waiting for their checks, they can hear me. And somebody co-signed me, and some woman was just like, they sure don't want to work here. They missing my hours. They haven't paid me for 2 days. Like, y'all, I'm not really exaggerating. It was so many people that was in line waiting for checks. Almost all of us was missing hours and a whole lot of money. I can see an hour or two, or maybe one time you make a mistake on a check everybody out there was complaining that they was missing money. This company was just low down and ran down and just was out of date. I don't know how they was running a company, but it was just not it. So the manager was just like, if you know, you need to calm down. And I was like, I'm not calming down until you write me a check right now and I'm leaving. So he was like, I can't write you a check. It's going to be on the next check. When he said that, it blew my top. So he calls the police on me. So he he threatened to call the police on me. And when he said that, I sat down and I crossed my legs and I said, I'm gonna wait for the police. The lady that was sitting in the office, that kind of triggered her. She was like, we don't even have to do all of this. Just calm down and leave. I was like, I'm not leaving until you give me my money. So the police come. Lucky me, I don't care what y'all say. It was a young, it was like it was two, maybe it could have been three. One cop could have been in the lobby, but it was two back in the office with us. Young black cops, I don't care. And I sat there with my legs crossed. The manager, I tried to tell the cops what was going on. He cut me off. The manager wanted to talk. So I sat back and I crossed my arms and I let him tell the officer what was going on. It was my turn to talk. And I told this officer, they don't have direct deposit. When we check in, check out, there's no digital trail. They charge this much for the uniform. And, you know, I knew all of that when I accepted the job. But the big problem is this is 2-3 checks in and they haven't paid me a huge amount of money. I'm not leaving until I get my money. So the cop, you know, we sat and talked for a little bit. Long story short, y'all, you might want to say, oh, the cop would say, oh, this is civil. You might have to go into the court. No. The cop said, I've talked to people that was in the back and a lot of your workers are complaining about their money being short because I guess when the cop pulled up, people saw the cop and they started complaining to the cop. So the cop was explaining to the manager, like, on my way in here, like, a lot of people was complaining to me that you're not paying them a lot of money. So yes, either you write her a check right now or you just have to make a promissory note saying that she's going to get her money within a couple of days or whatever, what have you. And yeah, big man wrote me a check, y'all. The manager wrote me a check on the spot. I went into the car where my friend was sitting, got their uniform and they belt. I came back inside, tossed it on the floor because it was in the bag, tossed it on the floor, and I walked out. And I told everybody that was in the lobby, I'm like, y'all don't want this job. This job is just, it's trash. It's trash. It's really, really trash. And yeah, I walked out and I fired myself. I quit. And that job was just one of the worst jobs. Well, it wasn't one of the worst. It was one of the worst companies that I've ever worked for. Because the post itself, like the security work itself, was fantastic. I worked the gatehouse. I got to ride around in that little car that was full of roaches. But it was cool. It was the company, the worst company I've ever worked for in my life. I wonder how many people sued them. I really wonder how many people sued them, because if that cop didn't take my side that day, I would have been in the courthouse suing them for my money for unpaid wages. I wonder how many people that sued them, because when I try to Google their company, they're no longer active. I don't see them on Google. I rode by that building that they were at, and it's a whole beauty salon now. So I wonder, did people sue them out their ass and they just got bankrupt and shut down? I don't know. I hope so, because they was running a slave house. No, no, not gonna work. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's the end of this story time. If you enjoyed it, y'all already know, like my video, leave a comment down below if you have experienced anything like that before. If you can relate to what I went through, go ahead and leave your experience in the comment down below. I appreciate it. Hit your notification bell so you can keep up with me, and when you know what I upload. Yeah, and I'm done. My mouth dry. I love y'all. Peace.